Hello there, I'm Spitfire from Spitfire Robotics, and today I'm going to make a update video for Roblox Studio and Roblox concerning Robot Combat. The first thing that's changed is that you don't need to go to the kerfuffle of going into Workspace, Properties. That's not needed anymore, as there is only one setting and PGS is already enabled. So you don't need to do that. But concerning the robots, not a lot has actually changed with the robotics and the actual wheels and stuff like that. You don't need to change your wheels to balls or cylinders. You can use either. It doesn't really matter. However, I found that wheels still work a little bit better. So all of your bots should work. One of the changes, however, is the motors for the weaponry. Now this is mainly flippers, axes and spinners. Taking a look inside Black Sun, we can see that the motor blocks need to be a lot bigger. This is to handle the new physics, so the motor blocks need to be a lot bigger in order for the robot to be able to flip other robots over or self-right itself. This is true for axes and flippers. So a way we counteract this, because these look quite unsightly and they don't really fit into the whole aesthetic of the robot, which is what we're trying to go for. So me and Redman have been talking around and we've decided that it's better if we just enable, put it in the rules that you're allowed to make the motors for flippers and axes and sometimes spinners invisible. Now obviously this wouldn't be allowed if we didn't go down here. This is in the properties of the blocks. If we didn't go down here and make sure the no collide is ticked off, so therefore robots can't actually bash into these blocks, because that would be against the rules if they're invisible and they're collidable. Okay, so now that's sound, we can move on to what's changed for spinners. Spinners are around about the same. The rotation block needs to be a lot bigger. However, some robots like Dracula already have a big block. This whole bar here is the rotation block and will therefore spin quite fast, and it still works. Some of these will change the aesthetic, therefore this acts as floating. However, this doesn't ruin the aesthetic as much as the big unsightly blocks would if they were visible. Now, these blocks do change the weight of your robot. That would have been a problem had there not been the system of being able to change the custom physical properties. You can see this by going into the Explorer, clicking on the block, and then properties down at the bottom here. Now you can change the properties by... Now to do this, you need to go down to part and make sure custom physical properties is ticked. Then you can click this little drop down arrow and you can change the density of the block. Now the usual density is around 7.85 blocks. Sometimes it changes depending on what the block is. However, for these big blocks you're going to want to lower the density to make them less heavy so your robot fits inside the weight limits. Obviously you can do this for your whole robot. However, it's quite cheaty if you have a massive robot that that's really light. Therefore, we are going to be using this size system as well. So the size system is going to be enacted for the new robot order. If you don't know what the new robot order is, go and have a look on Redman's groups and that will be all explained within there. So we, in the new robot order, are mainly going to be focusing on heavyweights, ant weights and flea weights. So the other weight classes may be used but not necessarily. Now heavyweight robots must be a size of 18 by 18 by 18 studs. Like Black Sun over here, Black Sun is a heavyweight within the weight limit, which you can check on the rules and regulations document, and it's also within the heavyweight block. So if I moved it down, it would be able to fit inside the heavyweight block, excluding the seat obviously. Now the other two weight limits are ant weight that we're going to be using, and that is 8x8x8 studs, and flea weight 5x5x5 studs. Now you might be thinking these weight limits are too small, but I assure you they're not. The robots can fit into them. This is one of my ant weights. This is electric eel, and electric eel fits within the weight limit, which you can see on the document, and the size limit, which is 8x8x8, quite snugly. It's not going over the barrier at all, and if I moved it down, it could fit within the 8x8x8 block. And flea weights are a lot smaller. They fit in 5x5x5 studs, and this is an example of a flea weight, a scaled down version of Black Sun, which I call Diddy Sun. And if I move it over here, you can see it is within the flea weight limit, quite snug, and will fit within the block.